Here's 5 secrets for building software even if you don't know how to code. You know, one of my buddies, Taylor, came to me one day and he's like, hey, I want to get into this SaaS world. You know, teach me your magical ways, Dan Martell. Like, how do I build software? And I was like, all right, man, like, I know you think it's like black art, but it's actually not. If you understand how to extract the right ideas from your customers and put together a package where you can actually get them to fund your development, and even better, use that package to hire the team and make sure that you don't overbuild, that is the secret. So I walked him through the process I'm gonna share with you guys today, and it allowed him to go within 6 months from 0 to having a working product in the market and generating $350,000 in sales for their software. This is how we do it. These are the 5 secrets. Let's get into it. The first secret is to find a pain problem. Find a problem that the market has, your customers have, that they're willing to pay for. You know, my first, literally, I've never shared this before, but the thing that I built that I charged for, the first product that I ever created was a CD burning app. I was literally 18 years old. I had one of the first CD-ROM burners on my computer, and all my friends would come over because we were downloading songs off of Napster, and they would make these CDs for their girlfriends. And I was like, sitting there watching them on my computer day after day, hour over hour, just like obsessing over the 5,000 songs I downloaded over the internet to make their perfect 152 song playlist. And it would just get to me because they were using my computer. I wanted to be on there gaming and chatting. So eventually I sat down and I coded this software in Visual Basic that allowed them to install on their home computers a connection to my computer to download all the songs I had so they could make their own CDs and then order it. Click a button, it would send it over to my computer, and at night I would put a CD in the burner and it would burn the songs for them to get. It was 20 bucks. That was the first thing I ever built that somebody paid for. And inside of me, something kind of snapped. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I built this thing, people pay me for it. And all of a sudden I kind of felt like, oh, there's more to this software world where I could like build other tools and maybe have people pay for it. And that to me is the filter, number one, for deciding what idea should I pursue. So many people build things that oftentimes turn into vitamins, right? These are nice to haves, they're not must haves. We want to build painkillers. So the tip that I want to share with you is that if you're trying to find ideas that people are currently paying for, go to consultants, go to custom dev shops, ask them. If you're trying to build an AI software for logistic companies, find the development agency, the people that build software for logistic companies, and go see what are the things they're currently building for customers. What's the custom integrations? What's the actual dollars they're spending money on? What's the actual problems that they're paying people to build code to solve those problems? To help you understand what would the first list of features be that I want to build for my new software. Second secret is we want to prototype the product. What this means is we want to create something that we can actually show a potential buyer so they give us feedback before we go and spend a bunch of money on getting custom code built. You know, the first thing that I ever kind of helped somebody build was my brother was looking to build a software for managing his properties. He had a bunch of tenants and he wanted to build a product that would allow them to like go online and request issues being fixed in their apartments or whatever it is. So all I did is I took a clipboard with paper, okay, white printer paper, a black Sharpie, and drew different screens and different flows to demonstrate to a potential user how it would work. And then to get feedback, I went to the mall, the local mall, super not fancy, this is 20 years ago, and just stop people and ask them like, do you live in an apartment? And they'd be like, yeah, why? And I'd be like, well, I'm thinking of building this software. It's called Managed Street. And I'm just curious, like, when I show you this, what would you do with that screen? And they're like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, my brother's thinking of building this software and I'd love your feedback because the last thing he wants to do is build something and do it in a way that you might not actually find it useful. And I sat there and I would just talk to people in the mall just randomly to get feedback on the product. And we learned so much. We learned about the things that were important to them, what they expected the first time user experience to look like, what would happen after a button, what were the screens that would pop up, and we just write down these notes to help us get feedback. The key is that we want to build a clickable prototype. That is the concept. In today's world, we have software like Balsamiq or Figma or InVision app that creates near pixel perfect software with no code. You will save all your time, all your money by doing that first so that you then have the specs and get feedback from real customers that could buy it so that you don't go and build a bunch of stuff that nobody's going to find useful. The third secret is we want to pre-sell to fund. What this means is we want to take the clickable prototype, this design of the first spec of our software, and actually go put it in front of potential buyers and take their money. Some of you guys may think like, that's crazy. Why would people pay for software? Here's the deal. My whole thing is that if somebody's not willing to pay you for that software before it's ever built, then you may be building something that doesn't really have a problem that they care about. If you think about crowdfunding, these are all examples of where people see a thing, get excited about the problem it's going to solve in their life, and prepay and buy into it. One of my companies, Flowtown, which was a marketing tool for small businesses to get the social media data on their customers through email addresses, before we ever built the full product, we wanted to test it. We wanted to get early customers to pay for it. So what we did is we created a landing page, put the 3 features and the benefits that you would get from using this software, even went as far as having a sign-up process, an upload screen for the data that they were giving us, showed them what it would cost to use the software, collected a credit card, and when they click submit, we didn't even charge the credit card, and we made up this fake excuse that our servers were overloaded and that we'd get back to them when the product was available. I mean, we wanted to validate, so by sending hundreds of emails, having people go through the flow, upload the data, and click the buy button so that we had real validated customers that were getting software, that changed the game for us. I had another friend of mine, Ryan, he built this software called Bucket, and I walked him through the same process, and he built the clickable prototype, launched the program, he called it the Inner Circle program, and he had a bunch of people, hundreds of people, fund the development of his software by getting them to buy into the vision that they were building so that he didn't have to spend a lot of money building stuff that nobody wanted, because he just showed them, here's what I'm going to go build, this is when you're going to get it. And the way to do it, and I call this the early adopter program, is you want them to prepay for a year, but give them a 50% discount. So if you're going to do an Inner Circle, or what I call an early adopter program, you want to give them whatever the annual cost would be, give them a 50% discount to get early access to use your software, to co-create it with you, to even have their name. This is what Ryan did. He put their name on his website to be, these are the early supporters of our product, so that they felt like they were part of a movement. You have to get people to pay ahead of time to truly validate if you've got something worth building. The fourth secret is we want to test the team. See, most people make the mistake of like wiring 50, 100, 200 grand to a development agency and saying, here's this thing, please build it. See, the benefit of having a clickable prototype is really simple. Now I have the product specs. I have something that is defining what I'm asking you to build so people can give you a really clear estimate. And then you can take one of those specific features and dole it out to 2 or 3 different developers and ask them to build it as part of a test project. When I was building my company Clarity, which was a marketplace for entrepreneurs to get advice over the phone, I had a bunch of early customers put deposits to show me they were serious. I then took the spec, went on Upwork, a freelancing site for developers, to build different prototypes, and I could see who communicated better, who wrote the best code, who built the thing on time, and then that gave me the sense of relief to hire the right person to build the product. And what's cool is, because I had the prototype, I had all of the specs, because one of the key tips is you never want a developer to design your software. It's called developer design. It's the biggest mistake. I can see it almost every time I come across software. Somebody's like, hey, look, I got this thing built. And I'm like, you let a developer choose the labels on the buttons and the screens and the flows, and it's complicated. When you have a clickable prototype, it allows you to test first different people, find the right person, and then give them the full project to build out. The fifth secret is customer backwards. See, most people make the mistake of when they launch software, they put it out in the world, they built something, it's their baby, and people start signing up for it, and they're just so hungry to like learn from people, so they're asking for advice, and the truth is everybody's got an opinion, and they'll give it to you. But what I've discovered is you only want to get feedback from people that are using the product. When I was building my company Clarity, I had a bunch of people say to me, great product, I love the idea, congratulations. And I'd be like, oh great, do you have any thoughts, any feedback, any advice for me? And they'd be like, oh yeah, you should do this, you should consider that. Next time you should launch with this integration. And then I remember one time I was getting this feedback. This person was super opinionated. And then I went on the back-end admin system to like check out their account, and I noticed that they never actually used the product. Sure, they had an account, they signed up for it, but they never actually went through and did anything with the software. And it made me realize that if I'm going to spend time, money in improving something, I have to only talk to people that are actually actively using the product. That's why it's customer backwards. I need people that are paying and using and getting their feedback. So one of the tips is this great survey called the Customer Development Survey. And there's a bunch of different aspects that I think will really serve you. So you can go Google it, check it out online, Customer Development Survey. It's pretty well known in the product world. But the key there is when you're getting feedback from the customers, you want to segment from people that are not active. You do not want to take feedback from people that are not active, because the ones that are, the ones that would be very disappointed if the product went away, they answer the question of, hey, what's one thing we could change to better meet your needs in our product? And the people that are active in the product, that answer that question, those are the folks that you want to value their feedback. Everybody else is just noise, and it can absolutely send you down on a rabbit chase. So if you're thinking of building software, be sure to follow this process. I know it's exciting. I want to move ahead real quick and build something, and it's so much fun, and we can do no harm, and wouldn't this idea be creative and so cool? And then you're going to call me one day when you've spent tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars on an outsourced dev team, that you built a product that you finally launched that nobody's using. And that's unfortunately the call I get. So if you found this useful, be sure to leave a comment. I want to invite you to join my Scaling SaaS Founders Facebook group. It's a free group where we connect with other founders just like you that are building software that don't know how to code, and we're sharing resources and best practices and strategies to grow their business. And I want to leave you with this thought, that the best type of financing is from a customer. Okay, customer financing is the best form of financing. With that, I want to challenge you to live a bigger life and a bigger business, and I'll see you next Monday.